like we're live, and if we're live on Facebook, that's even better. All right, so we're back. It's Flow State off the mats. I am very, very excited to start the new year with you all. But first of all, who are you? I want to start with that gentleman on the bottom. Who are you, sir?
So I'm John Anthony Bochnowitz with Supportive Alliance, and I help people to better understand their emotions. Look, that come before the anger, so that they can be in control of their feelings and thoughts instead of reacting from their anger.
I think you do a great job of it because we all quote you in our daily life. I'm just going to use the example real quick. Actually, but before we get there, who is this young lady and where are you from? What do you
Hello,
do?
I am Jackie, and I am a coach slash student slash participant at Flow State Martial Arts.
You you do wear a lot of hats there.
I'm
Um,
there. I'm just there.
you're there to coach, you're there to teach, you're there to be a part of it, you're there to help keep me on track sometimes. So, Coach Jackie, happy to have you here as one of the co-hosts here. And real quick, we are going to start this week and this time around a little segment that's going to kick off our show each and every time, which is
Woohoo!
astrology and well-being with Coach Jackie. So, Coach Jackie is going to bring you a little. I don't know. Go ahead and explain it. We're going to cover a lot of things, right? Fun things, astrology
Yeah, fun
things.
things, astrology things, mainly moon related things, because we had decided that if we were going to stream 2 times a month, that this would align either right before or right after the new moon and the full moon each time. To which this is something that I pay attention to in my life to see where that moon is, how it affects me and everyone around me, and what I can do to best harness the opportunities that it brings.
All right. So, real quick. So, for those that don't know, does the moon hold some sort of special power that we can tap into if we really believe it?
I think so,
I agree.
because the moon controls the water on the earth, and our bodies are mostly water. I thought that was always an interesting point.
I thought about that today
Yeah,
for some
it
reason.
controls the water through tides. It's
Mm-hmm.
what makes the high tides and the low tides.
Mm-hmm. And then humans are what, 70% water? Isn't
I
that
think it's
the
90.
number? Oh, there you go, 90. We are very much pulled and pushed during these times, I think. And
So,
yep.
no, I was gonna say, so, I mean, what is the moon up to this time?
The
I
moon
didn't mean to cut
is
you off. I'm sorry.
no. With us. Oh, and this is perfect because I tell you, when I do these things and I try to harness these opportunities, I say it's always good 3 days before and 3 days after,
Oh yeah,
either
you
the
told me
new or
that.
the full moon. And we
Yeah.
are exactly 3 days out because the new moon is going to be happening on January 18th. And I can definitely tell that it is coming because literally myself and everybody I talk to that I come across at work in my life, I'm like, hey, good morning, how are you? Same answer. I'm tired. I get the same answer. I am very tired. And I find that that could happen because when the new moon comes around, the sun is being blocked, which gives us the new moon, and that I find can take away our energy and make us tired. Sometimes I can feel very fatigued, and everyone around me as well can feel very fatigued or drained, or they don't feel very motivated. So I take this time to see what that means and what we can do about it. And I always follow a little template that I have that I pulled from a very helpful and informative website. It mostly revolves around tarot readings, but they had one reading for either the new or the full moon that changes slightly. So when the new moon comes around, it is mostly about what have I released since the full moon. So the new moon occurs. What have I released? Where am I now? What is emerging within me? What do I wish to grow? How can I reach my goals? And what other tools do I have at my disposal that I can use to help myself? So I saw right now that the new moon this month is going to be in Capricorn. And with the new moon being in Capricorn, this is bringing forth a time for us to become grounded, a time for us to set our goals, to build upon foundations, and to find security. And since this is a time, as I said, where our energy becomes a little drained, this is where I'm going to pull in my wellness tip for us on this stream. This is where I'm going to pull in, what was that? Our wellness tip for us for this stream is to definitely take this time, since we are maybe trying to reset, find our goals, find security, just to take that time, to take our time, give ourselves that space, rest, take breaths, just give ourselves a very safe space to set these goals.
I am on it. No, but real quick, the new moon. I'm very excited about the new moon. I'm always just really, if I hear about the new moon, I am just ready to go. One piece of advice, one thing that I think that we should pay attention to as humans when it comes to moons and things going on with that. I think, John Anthony, I think you said something about it last week. Like, it sometimes it imposes this pressure, right? Like, so we all say, oh, everyone's going crazy. It's a full moon out tonight, right? And I think there's something to be said about that. So my advice to you, anybody, if you feel like the pressure is creeping up, the new moon, a full moon, don't go and give in to that pressure. Keep yourself calm, keep yourself balanced, because you will feel that drive coming, and to keep yourself balanced. The pressure of the moon is very, very real. I respect the moon fully. All right, so
100%.
we're driving back to it this week.
And oh my goodness, excuse me, I
So-
think I'm getting a cold. So
The other thing, the moon, when reading a chart and things, the moon is symbolic of how we express our emotions, and the sign that it's in, it, flavors or colors, like a musical note, how that emotional expression is. So, so with it being in Capricorn, that's saying that, duty, responsibility, are going to be really important. But Capricorn is a sign that is going to tend to hold in the emotion. It's not one that's going to be expressive, say like in a fire sign or in an air sign, say like Aries or Sagittarius.
Okay, so real quick, so I want to know more about this, and I think I need to pick both of your minds at the same time. So I know you both know what you're talking about when it comes to this stuff, but so now pretend you're coaching me. So it's a new moon and it's in Capricorn. Like I said, I know about the moons. I paid attention over the last summer, especially. But what is it about the shift that shifts our emotions? That's one piece, and then second, how should we react when we feel that pressure? Because I do think it's something that we should pay attention to and not give into when that full moon is putting the pressure on us.
Watch out for his left.
Yes. So what I was going to say right off the bat for there is almost like self-fulfilling prophecies. I feel like sometimes is what happens when I look ahead, and whether it be the new or the full moon, and to see where I'm at or other people in my life, sometimes I can see it and be like, oh, well, that really doesn't seem too good. Like, what can I do about it? And that's where I can experience like pressure with that sometimes. But then if I get panicky or anxious with like, well, this is going to happen, like, what am I going to do? Sometimes I feel like with that extra effort, because of the pressure, it could cause more chaos.
Right, that's what I think, and that's where I think if we can try to help people kind of coach as we talk about this piece of astrology, that's the exact pressure that you're talking about, in my opinion, is the pressure that leads to a nurse or a police officer or anybody that works in that industry to be like, oh, it's a full moon tonight. Does that make sense? It's like us being pushed over the edge, not listening to the pressure. It's not walking away from an argument when we know we should, but something in us, we're just like, today is not the day for you to push me. Oh, wait, it's a full moon. You know what I mean? Like, that would be my coaching point, is like, pay attention. You know it's a new moon. You know the pressure's coming. Don't give in to any sort of anything. Not somebody tailgating you, not somebody looking at you the wrong way, even though they're not doing it. Like, don't give in to those thoughts and feelings. Does that make sense? Are we aligned on that? Okay,
Hmm.
cool. So that, because that's the piece I want people to understand is like when it's a full, like there's things you can do about this. Right? If it's a full moon, don't give into the pressure that you're feeling. Pay
Well,
attention.
the other thing though to understand is that depending on the sign it's in, um, can make things flow better or be more challenging.
Right.
So, you know, as I said last week, if you think of all the planets as a musical instrument, and then the sign that it's in is a note that it's playing. And when you have all your planets and the signs, there's different, you put them all together, that's your chord or vibration.
Yeah.
Well, so when you look where your moon sign is, and then, so like mine's in Leo, so that right now it's in Sagittarius, the moon is going to be going into Capricorn.
Okay.
And so that's harmony. Fire signs are harmony. The air signs are harmony. The air signs are harmony, and the earth signs are harmony, amongst themselves.
Okay.
And so right now, the moon is really good for me because Sagittarius is in flow. But when it gets to Capricorn, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for my Leo moon. And so when you look at those things, and then also the house that it falls into when you have your chart done, you have 12 houses, for 12 signs. And when you look at that what house it falls into, it can like because there's different areas, like your personal life or your work
Yeah.
life or your family
Yeah.
life and
Yeah.
things like that. So
So,
so
so
you put it all together and it makes up an understanding of potential, impelling but not compelling.
no. So okay, hang on to that because that's the piece that I think people could really use in their lives. Like some of you, I know that there's a lot of people that you're like, oh, I checked my horoscope for the day. I don't do that, but I know that a lot of people do that like daily, right? Like, oh, like people can read their horoscope and people ask, like, what's your sign, right? And they're kind of like, oh, that's why you act that way, or that's why you're acting this way. And so I really think people could benefit and have, not all the answers, but a small playbook for their life if they really said to themselves, like I said, like, pay attention to that feeling that's coming. Right. And so like we all say, it's like some of us have terrible anxiety in the sense that it's like we just want to know what's going to happen. But where I'm going with this is going back to what John Anthony just said about better to have a playbook than have unrealistic expectations. And so to say to yourself, I'm having a great week, I'm having a great month, incredible. It will shift. And when it does, pay attention because it doesn't have to be the end of the world. Pay attention to what's going on. Take your little playbook, pay attention to how people are behaving around you, how you're behaving, how you're reacting, and then find the opportunities to be like, okay, let's take a step back. Let me not send that email. The moon is in whatever phase. Does that make sense? My long-winded explanation is to say that I really think people have a playbook that they're not utilizing simply because they don't know that it's there. But if we all sat down at a campfire, 20 of us, we'd all probably have the same thoughts on a full moon and how people start acting crazier when there's a full moon. So we agree on certain things, but we don't use the playbook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Well,
for the full moon, definitely more energized or what's the word I'm looking for? Emphasized? Something like
Okay,
that.
I understand.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also for those that aren't familiar with astrology and things, it's important to realize the science in the sense that the tides are affected by the moon because of the gravitational pull that the moon has because it's a large body and it's close, and so when it's moving, around the earth, the tides, adjust with it. And you have the sun on the other side. So with a full moon, you got the sun on one side of the earth and the moon on the other side. And so they're pulling in opposite directions.
Like proven. Like this is proven stuff is what I'm
Well,
saying, right? Yeah.
they're 180 degrees,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
they're opposite,
Yeah.
and then And like now the sun's in Capricorn, and so the moon's going to be in Capricorn, so they're both pulling in the same direction.
Right.
And so it's been, scientifically known that, with gravity and things like that, in large bodies, they pull. That's what makes the solar system work.
Right.
It's the gravitational pull and things like
Right.
that, the planets that orbit. And so that's why things are in opposite directions. That's why there's the tendency to have people say that the people act crazy, because they don't know which way to go. This way, this, it's like, and so that's something to consider.
But then, like you said, right, and this is where I'm saying, like, use the playbook that we're kind of talking about here, because, like you said, you're saying the moon's working for you right now. Like you said, you're probably having a great week. Everything's just working out. You're feeling good. You got some good energy, and then when it shifts away from being your type of moon, it's not that it's going to be bad. It's just you have to pay a little bit more attention to your energy and what's going on around you, if that makes sense. So use the playbook at that time.
Well, it's about understanding, and to be understanding, we need to be mindful. And when we're mindful of what's going on for us, with our thinking and our feelings, and we're going to be able to make responsive decisions, responding where we look at our choices and then pick the best one, as opposed to reactive decisions where we just react, in fight, flee, or freeze. When we react from the amygdala when we're really frightened, then we turn it to anger. So
Yeah. I all right, so we're 3 days away from the new moon, so everybody get ready. John Anthony's having a good week. He's gonna have a great weekend, judging by things, and I'm just really excited for it. No, I'm really excited
It's
for
gonna be good.
everything's gonna be really good. I'm very excited for everybody. All right, so the topic that we were gonna talk about was who or what is steering your ship. So as you can see, we're definitely gonna play off a lot of astrology and well-being things, and then have a topic of the week. And this week is who is steering your ship, who or what is steering your ship. So it's the new year. One thing I thought would be good to talk about is maybe we're paying attention to these things, the three of us. And so I am going to say that for me, one tool that I'm using to make sure that I am steering my ship, is I really gotta just be in, not necessarily the moment, but the day. Like, I really have to pay attention to how much is going on this weekend. So for example, it's crazy with wrestling this season. Schedules are shifting. One morning it's 7 a.m. The next day it's 12 p.m. It shifts the school and everything. It's exciting. It's a great time. But there's no cadence. There's no cadence. There's nothing to grasp onto. And then it's like, we just got to take it day by day at this time. Thank goodness for my wife. We're paying attention to the calendar and things like that. But it's really just telling myself, it's Monday. I really just gotta think to like Wednesday right now. Check the calendar, check in, make that mental note, if you will, and then tell myself, going to Wednesday today. Like, I'm really not letting myself get exhausted about things.
It's what you control in this moment.
Yes.
What you can and cannot control. If something's going to happen, it's going to happen. And then if not, it doesn't. And going from there, I find that's what has helped me the past couple of weeks with my anxiety, because I have constantly always lived in like a state of worry of, oh my gosh, this and oh my gosh, that. And so the past, I would say, few weeks, I've just been kind of like, it is what it is kind of thing with these things I'm worrying about. That's how we say, we always quote John Anthony during our day, where I'm like, that's kind of like that's a later thing. That's a future problem. I'm predicting patterns that may not even happen to me. So I just handle it when it comes up, and that's helped me quite a bit in my day to day.
So you've been trying to stay in the present, in the day, as helping you with your anxieties, Jackie?
Yep. So as I said, I would always kind of think too far ahead with some things, or just like little teeny things that seemed very, 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 very big to me. So what I would do is that I just have decided that, I'm worried about this thing because my brain, as you said, is making predictions. It may be a problem, may not be a problem. that realistically, I don't think it's going to be a problem, and not going to let that dictate my anxiety and kill my moment and suffer twice, possibly.
Yeah, because like we talked about, the brain is wired to make predictions. Lisa Feldman Barrett's research up in Boston, has shown that. She spent 25 years to point, to show that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm anxiety and when I'm anxious, it's because I'm here in the moment, but I'm thinking about the future. But when I'm feeling anxious about the future, it's because I'm having fearful predictions or fantasies about what might happen.
Mm-hmm.
If I was excited, it's because I'm having positive fantasies or predictions about what the future is going to be. We're going to the beach, it's going to be fun. It's supposed to be a sunny day. Those are thoughts about the future that are going to affect me, but they're positive things and they're going to have the positive emotions. Whereas, oh my God, it's going to rain, and it's going to ruin the whole thing. And, then I'm having those negative thoughts. And our thoughts are powerful. Our thoughts are what determine what we're feeling, not the experience. Otherwise, everybody would feel the same way about every experience, and we don't.
I agree. No, I agree. And this definitely, as I said, really, 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 really helps me. Because if we want to talk about like who or what is steering our ships, and that would be a big one for me, or what used to really steer my ship and really always like take away my moment, like, or day or something like that. I didn't want to live that way anymore. It's not a very
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah. Well, when you're walking through what's going to happen tomorrow, you can't be present in what's happening now.
Mm-mm.
And I can't control tomorrow now, but I can control now.
I agree. 100%.
And so you're focusing your energy, and then you're also not scaring yourself with your anxious predictions about how things are going to not go well.
Maybe. Maybe not go well. It was never a guarantee, but it's like, I guess our thoughts and predictions trying to protect us in a way from what may happen.
Yeah, it's an attempt for our body to protect us, but sometimes it scares us
Mm-hmm.
even more. And that's where, if I'm being mindful, I can recognize, okay, I'm going to what could happen, and maybe it will, but right now that's not happening. What's happening now? And there's enough right now to be concerned about, that I don't need to add to it with what tomorrow is going to add to it. I
Mm-hmm.
can be prepared, like, well, if that happens, if it rains tomorrow, I'm going to take an umbrella. Okay. But then that's, till tomorrow comes, I can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's definitely a good one with who or what can steer our ship.
Yeah.
I know
So
another. Go ahead.
go ahead. You got another
Oh,
one?
no, I was going to say another one for me, and I know I brought this up before when we were talking about this, was somebody maybe who might find themselves as a people pleaser. That was very much a big one for me. I think Ryan's muted, maybe.
Nobody here, so I'm sorry. I was unmuted the whole time. That's awesome.
Um,
No, it's okay. I wasn't. I didn't. People pleasing. I want to take an opportunity real quick on the topic of people pleasing to say that while we're here in the new year, I am very far removed from a real people job, as we jokingly call it. Back from being a GM of a lounge and all those fun things. But I, I would say to all of my friends and family that are out there working and doing a great job, that have some stressful jobs. I know it's hard sometimes to be present, but like, you really, really do have to put the effort into training your mind to like really, really not be much further than 2 or 3 days ahead. And I know that sometimes our bosses and the system and things like that, deadlines make it really, really hard to like stay in the moment. But I mean, you got to stay grounded in the chaos. And I know that that's hard, but you got to work on it. I'm just saying, you got to stay here. You got to be present. You can't be a people pleaser. You can't answer every email. You can't pick up the phone all the time. Sometimes you have to call out. Sometimes you're not feeling well. Sometimes you have to go to your friend's wedding. Like you really have to figure out how to just take control of your life. But also, I think we kind of live in an era that understands that. So take advantage of it. Start setting the tone for the
I
future.
think that got a lot better after COVID.
I think, yeah, if COVID was a nice reset button.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, see, people pleasing is in and of itself isn't inherently negative unless I'm pleasing others and I'm not pleasing myself. You know, because I want to be assertive where I'm respecting and pleasing others, but I'm also respecting and pleasing myself. And when I'm a people pleaser where I just take care of others and I don't take care of myself, can either of you guess what the emotion is that I'm coming from? That's why I'm pleasing them and not myself.
Trying to fulfill something.
Fear.
Fear, yes.
I went
Fear.
way off track.
My fear my fear is if I don't please you, I'm going to lose your, are you a cat, your love. You know, I'm going to lose your respect, your understanding, your acceptance, caring, appreciation, and trust. So I'm going to please you so that I can keep getting that. The irony, though, is that sometimes that actually sets things up to be worse because it gives the other person the impression that the only person's needs that matter are theirs. And they don't care about yours, it's just about theirs. And so when I'm saying, don't worry about me, I'll just take care of you, well, I'm teaching them they're more important than me. And so then I'm letting them steer my ship as opposed to me being centered and pleasing myself and pleasing the other person, finding out how to make that work.
Do any of you let money steer your ship? Money.
Money.
Now, how about not just like
Uh,
money, not like, oh, I
no.
like to spend money or anything, but money in the sense that like you equate work with money, and so you build up anxiety per anxiety, like right on top of one another. Because like
You mean like
if I
just
don't have a
doing
job, I
work
won't
for
have
money?
money, and if I won't have money, then I won't be able to live, and if I'm not able to live, then I'll die.
I definitely when I pick work, I don't put the
That's
money
what I'm
first. I
asking. Okay,
definitely
cool.
put.
Can you
Oh yeah, no,
separate?
no,
The like
no.
the
Like,
some people don't
oh no,
separate.
I couldn't do a job I hated just because the pay was
Some people can
good.
really do that.
If
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Well,
mm-mm.
see, Ryan, what you were talking about, you were talking about money and then you started going into the future, you know, predictions. You know, if I don't have money, this is going to mean this, and then it's going to mean that.
Yep.
And so um, I'm, you know, anticipating about the future, but I'm coming from my fear. You know, I'm not coming from, oh, I'm going to, things are going to go well and it's all going to work out. Oh my God, I'm going to this and that, like you said, and then I'm going to die, you
Yeah.
know, because I'm
Some
going down
people,
that.
my
Yeah.
children aren't gonna love me because I can't get them the best Christmas gifts, and I can't do this and that and the other thing, and then so many
They
things
don't
are
know the
steering your
difference
ship.
between
It's not
that.
even about work anymore. It's not even about work anymore at that point. It's like you need to do some soul searching. You know, I'm gonna go on a tangent here for some of the people who let people steer their ship. Like that's what I'm saying. It goes from money. And then it's like, well, if I don't have money, then I can't be a good dad. And then it's like, okay, so what do we got going on as a parent that you feel that one equates to the other? Does that make sense? Are you guilty about not giving your family enough time? Are you guilty about something else? Does your partner make you feel guilty? Like these are things that you need to pay attention to, right? Because it's going to be very, very hard for some people to be able to steer their ships if they're not paying attention to those factors that's letting them steer. It's not about the Christmas gifts. It is not. It's not about the Christmas gifts. And if you think it is, it's not. Right. And so, what are you afraid of losing or not getting that you think that your children are going to think less of you if you can't supply every Christmas gift that they want?
Well, that may just, to me, off the bat, it seems like expectations one would maybe put on themselves to be
Right. And
enough.
then it's like, where does that come from?
Um,
Right. I don't think it's any one answer. I mean, sometimes maybe it can be, but I don't think it's any. That's where you got to go see John Anthony or a therapist.
well, maybe it comes from like outside influence, comparing yourself to others.
Yeah. Trauma.
Maybe.
Trauma. I've spoken to people where like they have straight up said that they did not have a dad, and that's why they try to be the best dad. But
Or I didn't have a good Christmas growing up, so I'm going to do everything I can for my kids on Christmas kind of thing. But it's
Right.
like, what's realistic? Yeah, the pendulum swings.
But it's a big pendulum swing if you pay attention, because I want to say that one gentleman who I spoke to, he said he was really trying to be the best dad he could be because his dad wasn't. He was working so much, and I remember being like, "Listen, I let me be clear. Like working really, really hard in hospitality, and that's just the industry I'm using. It's not for me. I'm confidently saying that. Okay, I did it. It was great. It's just not for me anymore. What I'm saying is, it's not that I don't respect the grind. What I try or hope to instill in some people, not just dads, is like, please don't miss the time either. Please don't miss the growth. Please don't miss the moments. And then where it's like you can go on a whole different episode about societal expectations, and it's like, why do you think that you need to do X to be a good dad? Who
You
said
ever watched the
this?
movie Hook?
It's been decades.
Remember, we probably wouldn't watch it the same now if it's been decades. You wouldn't watch it the same as an adult as
Did
you
I
would.
cry
Yeah, you would.
out of like mental health pain struggles?
I missed
believe
the
that.
title of the movie you're talking about.
Hook with Robin Williams, where he's Peter Pan, but he left Neverland to have a family, and then Peter Pan grew up to be a lawyer, and he works all the time, but he's a really great lawyer. He's super successful, and he makes a lot of money. But you know, his kids, Peter Pan forgets who he is, and his kids get kidnapped by Hook because Hook wants to fight Peter Pan. So during that time, Hook has Peter Pan's son, and Peter Pan's son wants to at one point stay with Captain Hook. And there's one point where, you know, Peter Pan had given his son a watch, and the son takes the watch, and Hook's, you know, talking to him like, your dad, he doesn't care about you, he's not a good dad, whatever. So his son starts smashing the watch and smashing all the clocks in the room, and the son wasn't upset because like, oh well, you know, my dad did this or that. Is my dad didn't come to my baseball game. My dad said he would be there, and he wasn't there. And so you know, it's not about the
So
money.
the scene's about getting rid of time, like
Time,
losing
yeah,
time. You're losing
exactly.
time.
My
You
dad
missed the
wasn't there. You
baseball
said
game.
you
You
would be
missed
there, and he
right.
wasn't there. So it was never
That
about the
hits.
money or anything like that. And you know, I have a great relationship with my parents and my father. But I remember growing up, just my dad works in the car business, and what the car business does, schedule wise, is horrendous. So part of my childhood is my dad worked a lot. But did my dad make, you know, enough money to come and support the family? Absolutely, he did. And we took a lot of trips and did things that I will always remember. But it's like, dang, I wish like you weren't gone freaking 9 to 9, you know, during the week kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing about the pendulum, is it goes from one extreme to the other, and you're trying to overcompensate, and you go way over here when really I need to be in the middle here. And, you know, so trying to provide for the family and make lots of money, that's great. But then I don't get to spend time with the family. So I don't have memories. I don't get to interact with them. You know, I find that with my kids, you know, because I work in the evenings, and that's when they're home from school. And during the day, you know, they're at school. And, you know, but I've just concluded that my kids don't love me because they're teenagers.
That happens
Rough
too.
patch.
But I'll tell you what, the pendulum comes back because there's this weird space at 20 where they want you to, like Alexis, I'll teeter with the idea of like, should I call her? Like I haven't, like literally it's been a couple of days since I've seen her. Like Alexis can be crazy, like, but she's living a great life.
Oh,
She
that's
does everything
sweet.
she's supposed to do. Right. So I call her, and she will actually say, I really appreciate you checking in. I really appreciate, because it's at that age where it's like, the world's moving so fast, and then it's just dad calls to anchor you. Does that make sense? Like I called her last week, and I was like, I you know, I made the dad joke, if you will, that I think every parent eventually does, which is the just calling to make sure you're
Do not.
alive.
Oh my God! I thought you were gonna be like, the phone works both
Oh no,
ways or
I don't.
something like that. That's where I thought you were going. I was
deliver
like,
the
do
guilt
not.
trip. I'm like, just calling to make sure you're alive. And she's like, yeah, I'm at my mom's house watching the Eagles game. I appreciate you calling. So the pendulum will come back, John Anthony. Don't worry.
So she didn't stay alive very long then, because the Eagles didn't do so good.
So she made it down 95 safely and back home, thank God. So, but what was I gonna say? I think I was gonna say something about so about schedules and things. Just throwing it out there. It's what we said about schedules. Like I've said 100 billion times on repeat, I'm broken at this point, that I did work in the hospitality industry for a long time. We paid attention to the salary increases in the sense of, does it make sense? Okay, we paid attention in that sense. But what Monica and I were really always paying attention to was, what type of quality of life would it offer? So what we found out was that when you work in hotels, it can be all over the place. Front desk is one schedule, housekeeping is another, whatever. But what we found was that instead of working in the restaurants where you're getting out at 2 a.m., if I worked in banquets, people don't book large banquets on the holidays, right? Because you're usually hosting larger corporations and things like that. So you have lots of downtime in the holidays, in the winter and the summer and things like that. So it really worked for us. But yeah, the random point, I'm like, my long-winded point is that we actually aimed to just for the quality of life. That was always the goal, was to just be in a place where I could be in control of my schedule.
Yeah, I worked in the service industry for a hot second, maybe for a year and a half. I worked at a country club, and I was just a hostess at one point, and I don't want to be like I was just a hostess, but I was happy being just a hostess because I came in, I did what I was supposed to do, and then I went home. And then the dining room manager, who was working there when I got hired, eventually moved on. So instead of hiring somebody new, somebody who was qualified,
She's been here long enough.
Who,
Jackie can do it.
Yeah, she can do it, and we're gonna underpay her. And I know I was underpaid because before COVID happened, when the new CEO of the country club had taken over, he was like, "We need to have a talk. We need to get back from vacation," because I was going to Florida. That we're going to give you a raise because you're not being paid what you deserve to be paid for what you're doing. Great. And then COVID happened, never went back, so never saw that opportunity. But I just remember, okay, so when that guy had left, and they were like, well, you can do it. And I was like, all right. And I had at that point wanted to work in the service industry. I wanted to be like head of the front of house at that time in my life. And I just remember, that's what I wanted to do. Because I do like hospitality. I love working with people. I love helping people and making them happy and getting them what they want.
Sounds like a good cancer.
Thank you.
And not the disease, but the sun sign.
No, I really am.
Yeah, cancer is the mother sign of the zodiac. Mother, wanting to take care and cook, and
sounds like that.
And Capricorn is the father.
People pleaser. No, but Jackie is all these things. She's very maternal.
You sprinkle other things in there, and it creates a people.
I was gonna say you are very caring and maternal, and you and Monica always keep everything going with the food in the summer. So that's good. Thank you.
I do, but at that point, I had accepted this promotion, and I just fell into just having my life and time sucked away. And I don't remember exactly what was said, but the food and beverage manager at the time, I was made a comment that I was like, well, I want to go home and see my husband. I haven't really seen him. And he made some comment, well, this job is why he's divorced or whatever. And I was and at that point I was like, oh, I'm done. And I'm mentally and emotionally after that, just totally was I'm not being here next year for all this, all these events that are killing me. I'm done.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, and it's not that individual or your story, but I want to be clear in saying that it's not the first time that I've heard people, and I remember being at a point in my life where I was a very young, ambitious hospitality professional with my degree and all that stuff. But I remember people used to look me in the face, look me in the eyes, just like you said, and be like, well, that's just part of this life. You gotta give your entire life away. And I remember being like, okay, I gotta accept that.
Nope.
And I accepted that for a long time, and then finally I was like, this is dumb. This is really dumb.
I remember I got so bitter at the end because we had the country club was very, very nice, and the back of the property was very beautiful, and our dining room, because there was like an upstairs dining room which was like more for events. Then we had the pub downstairs. Both had balconies that looked over the 18th hole. It was such a great view, and during the spring and summer when people would sit out there and could just get waited on in hand and foot, I'm like, when's it gonna be my turn to sit out there and have somebody come and like, and I'm gonna get food and I'm gonna enjoy myself and sit, because it was always me on the other end, and I didn't have time to go anywhere to have this reciprocated towards me. So I was like, I'm done. So now when I'm on vacation, or we went to New Hope for our anniversary last, not Paul and I's anniversary that just passed, the anniversary before that, we went to New Hope, stayed at a very nice hotel and restaurant, and we sat out on the little like outside porch and ate breakfast and had our coffee, and I'm watching people walk by, beautiful weather, beautiful morning, and I'm just like, finally, like, freedom.
Yo, I know what you mean about how I used to like have my days where I'd be like, I am just so tired of making people's lives incredible. I mean, and listen, you know that's not me. That's not me. But like on the on the 10th day straight and like the 400th hour straight, I'm like, I'm over this. Anyway, um, so just a little point that I was gonna add. So now when I go out with Monica and the kids and we're able to have that time like you just described, this would be me. I am so terribly sorry to interrupt you, miss. Would you
Yeah.
mind please getting me a water? I am so thank you so much. Thank you. Like,
People do that to
yeah.
me at work sometimes, like, I'm so sorry, could I just have some ice in my I'm like, nice, and I go, never be sorry. Do not tell me sorry. And I take their cup and I go fill it with water. Like, absolutely, I'm happy to help you. So many people I would bend over backwards for. Others, eh. But so many people, even like when you said in the 100th hour, it's like, all right, we're friends. I really care about you. Yes, I'll help you. I'll
There's some
help you.
people out there. John Anthony, you worked in hospitality for a hot second. Were you steering your ship back then?
No, no. When you work for hospitality, you just glad you're on the ship. You don't get to
No,
steer it.
seriously.
We always used to say, the old bar manager at the time has always says, we're just arranging deck chairs on the Titanic. That's what he would say to me sometimes. We're arranging deck chairs. It does not matter what we're doing. It's all going down.
It's all gonna crash and burn.
Yeah, the highlight of my waiting tables days, and I was, when I had long hair, I had to be behind the scenes in the kitchen, cook, and then when I cut it, I was able to be out on the floor, and it just was you don't get your time. Well, the highlight of my waiting days was when I was a banquet waiter at the Hyatt in Lake Tahoe, and that was a lot of fun. You worked limited hours. You didn't do 9 to 5, but depending on how many banquets and things like that, and but you got paid well because the tip was automatic.
Right.
Because they took it right out, and so it was. But you have this manager, and they think you're a great waiter, and then you get the next manager, and they think you don't know from nothing, and they're trying to get rid of you, and so that was part of the stress, because the Lake Tahoe office was it was a place that they would train a lot of people, because it's a beautiful place to train in. So you get this manager for 6 months, and they train them, and then they're gone, and now you got another one, and it made it stressful, because am I good or am I not good, but that wasn't where I was meant to be. So eventually I was able to, with a little bit of a push and a little bit of step in my direction, I was able to get away from that.
Yeah. And I think that's a good opportunity for us to circle back hard and talk about, steering your ship and not telling anybody to go and quit their job. But I think one thing as we go towards the final thoughts, my suggestion would be to really take control of your ship. You got to really figure out what you want from your life. And the hard part I think about that is that in some cases it may be many pieces. It may not just be the job, it may be the family, it may be you haven't really attacked something that you want to do in life. I think it's important that you do that to really just get a grip, get back in. So, long story short, in order to lock back in, take that time to figure out what you want and then get back in control of your ship. Coach Jackie,
Yeah.
do you have any final thoughts as we
Yes.
head towards the end? What you would do to help steer the ship to make sure that nobody else is steering it for us this time around in January 2026?
To make sure you are doing what's best for you. That's my advice, whatever that is. Make sure whatever is steering your ship is moving towards whatever goal or what you want for your life, because time is definitely something you cannot get back.
Yes, I agree.
But you get more of in the future.
Yeah. He's going to kick us
Ah!
off.
That's gonna be the whole thing is reeling everybody in, and that's one of the weird things that you try to steer your ship because some people are too worried about the future and some people aren't worried enough about here, and then you have to, yes, and
Balance.
it's the balance, right, that you have to piece together in your head to help steer your ship. You have to have the balance
And
of accepting that you can't worry about time, but at the same time, you got to realize that you have time.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
weird.
Yeah. Well,
and when I discovered with myself that we had a conversation with where I wasn't really worried about time, I was worried about my freedom. Remember we
You're not
talked
doing
about
what
that
you want to do.
last Friday? Yeah. So it's not like I'm worried about time. It's when I feel like I get impeded on or like it's taken. When I feel like it's taken from me, that's when I'm like, oh my gosh, but I only have this much this time and it has to do this and I have to do this now. That's when I get crazy.
yeah. Well, if anybody finds themselves saying, "You're making me angry," well, then that person is steering my ship because they're doing what they do. How I feel is all about what I think about what they're doing. And when I take responsibility for what I'm thinking, then I see how I'm making me angry. But if I just think you're making me, then I'm giving you all the power and you're steering my ship. It's like with my girls, I have 3 daughters, and the little one says, well, that's what they do to me. Well, if that's what they do to you and you're doing that, then you're letting them dictate how you're going to be. And that's how we let something or someone else steer our ship. We're not saying, no, you can be in a bad, grumpy mood. I'm not going to go there. You can be coming from your fear. I'm going to stay in my love, that things are going to be okay or work out, or that I'm okay. And it requires mindfulness, to steer your ship, you have to be mindful. And if you're not being mindful, then somebody else or something else is probably steering your ship. And you don't even know it because you're just not paying attention.
Yeah. No, I want to piggyback off of what you just said is that that's really hard sometimes. I know for some people, like I think if some people look at their daily life, they're really sure they're doing the right thing. They're sure, and I think in many cases they are. But I think if you're somebody who won't let somebody merge or somebody change lanes because they're trying to avoid an accident, like if you see like when people can't handle driving, I like to what you're saying, John Anthony, about getting angry. Like, why are you letting this person who needs to merge get you so upset? What is going on in your life that you're
Yeah.
letting
You're
this
looking
control
for an
you? Right.
outlet.
I'm afraid
Instead of
they're going
people
to get
getting
ahead of
angry,
me.
you're letting them get you angry. Don't give them the power. There's no reason.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to merge.
Yeah. Controlling
Just here existing.
other people's driving is one of the ways that I get challenged. When I drop my kids off to school, you're supposed to pull up. You're supposed to go all the way up and then let your kids out.
Oh
And then the
no.
people that stop there and it's like, well, why aren't you pulling all the way up? Or why are you stopping there? Because I'm busy wanting them to do what I would have done instead of letting them be who they are and do what they do. And then I respond to that. No, I'm trying to change them. Like, go all the way up, don't stop there.
I
That's right.
No, I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say I
You
concur
go.
with Johnny. I think it's hilarious that Johnny Anthony said he gets challenged in driving and then mentioned school because one of my favorites is when like there's always an officer helping the crossing guard lady. So sometimes I'm like behind and then the officer stops to let some kids cross the street, but there's like a ton because it's the last minute, and then you see him change positions and you're like, oh, all right, it's my time, but it's him changing positions to let the whole carpool line go, and I'm like, ah! But then I have, but then like we all say, like John Anthony says, I have to really tell myself, I am the one that made myself late. I am the one that was not locked in enough. These children, they're more important than I am. These people in the carpool line, they have waited their turn. They have planned accordingly. They are on time. I have done this to myself. We all just need to
And
get
you're
to
a little
school.
late.
Right.
Yeah.
So what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
I
what it
saw a
is.
quote online, and it's, it's easy for people to, this is a paraphrase though, it's easy for people to want to change others, but they don't think about how can I change myself so that I get a better outcome?
Right.
It's too much
Then I'm
work.
trying
That's
to,
too
then
tricky.
others are steering my ship because I'm trying to change them and they won't change. Instead of as they're doing whatever they're doing, I control my response to them. Yeah. Because the
It's
other
very
thing
hard to
about
look
getting to
inward.
astrology, we can go with the flow or we can resist it or somewhere in between. And it's our free will at which one we want to do. And I enjoy, going with the flow. It's like, in my college days, my best friend and I were sitting around, and so everybody acts like life is, this is back, in our 20s, everybody acts like life is just one big uphill bicycle ride, and it's, and for us at that time, it felt like life is just one big glide down the hill on my bicycle. It's just real easy, going with the
Mhm.
flow, or you can resist the flow. Our choice,
Yeah.
we have free will if we choose to use it.
I have definitely been blessed enough in my life where I've never really had a true emergency where I've ever really been in an urgent hurry to get somewhere. So we talk about like traffic and things like that and like road rage. Where the other day I was like pulling out from where I was living, and there's this little thing you can kind of like go right, but you have to wait because there's traffic coming that way. And the person had pulled up and stopped. I'm in the next lane, so I'm not even involved in what's going on. Some more cars pull up, and then one car like honked on their horn because I guess the person up front wasn't moving fast enough. But I was just like, where are we going? Unless like, are we really in a hurry?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm in
what?
a
Like, where
hurry.
are we in a rush? Where are we in a rush to? It's a Wednesday at 4:30.
What color is
I
your car?
I'm
I
just
think I was
here.
behind you the other day,
Patience.
Jackie.
Oh yeah.
Monica is good about that. She's funny like that because that's when her jersey comes out. Because like I, right, in my healing, I'm a bit ahead of her as far as driving in the sense that like I was trying to make the right turn and I look and I just wanted to make sure. And then somebody gave us not even like a hard honk, just like the little light honk. And Monica was like, "No, no, no," and I was like, "Babe, I'm not paying attention." Monica's in the passenger seat, and she's like, "No," and I was like, "Okay, all right, everybody just relax, just relax."
I say, like, where are we going to get like the antidote? We're on our way to get the antidote. Like, that's what I always say when I see somebody like in such a rush in a line or something. Are we aligned for the antidote? Geez, like what's
No, I
going
think the
on?
joke is, what is it?
What's
Where's the
happening?
fire?
Where's the fire?
Yeah. All right, so
But yeah.
if nobody else has anything to say, it's 9:03 p.m. It has
Do you know
been.
where your children are?
Yo, you can't say that, John Anthony, because I'll start the podcast all over again because I watched a YouTube video or it was something on Instagram and it was literally just rolling all of those, like it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? And I looked at Monica and I was like, do you understand that they had to make a publication for our parents to be reminded to ask us where we were at 10 p.m.? And she was like, not my dad. I was already home by then. Anyway, so listen, we had a great time with you all. This is going to be a bi-weekly program, so we won't be back next week. Next week, we will be meeting up to create a bigger and better show for you all. We will see you all on January 29th, 2026.
Ooh.
Thank you all for tuning in, everybody. Take care and make sure to play your cards right with this new and upcoming moon. Bye bye, everybody.